Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome and thank you for joining us. This is AutoVision News Radio at AutoSens and InCabin USA 2025 from the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit. Joining us is Jeffrey Morin, Automotive Imaging Solutions Specialist at OMNIVISION, the lead sponsor of AutoSens USA 2025. Jeffrey brings over 25 years of expertise in CMOS image sensor development, specializing in automotive applications. Based at OMNIVISION, he leads innovation in advanced imaging technologies that enhance vehicle safety and performance. A proud alumni of Wayne State University, Jeffrey combines deep technical knowledge with a proven record of driving complex sensor projects from concept all the way to production. Jeffrey, welcome to AutoSens and InCabin. Good to see you, friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Jeffrey, let's talk about OmniVision's sensors. They're used in a wide range of automotive vision systems, and we're talking things from front view cameras to surround view cameras, in-cabin applications. So how do you approach optimizing performance across such, let's call it, varied deployment scenarios? How do you do that?
Yeah, so at OmniVision, we have 40 or more image sensors in our menu. So by far, we have the largest menu of image sensors in the automotive market. Sure. Some of those are tailored very specifically to applications, but some of them are more general purpose and used around the vehicle.
Right.
And then for tuning them for performance, like say for example, an ADAS sensor. An ADAS sensor, because it has to look to the exterior and work at nighttime and daytime conditions, has to work in any lighting condition, right? So we put things in there like high dynamic range. Those are generally higher resolution.
Sure.
And we test those. We do some performance testing in the lab, lots of testing and tuning. We have a small army of engineers that go to work on these sensors when they come out of the fab.
Sure.
And then to back that data up, generally what you do in the lab doesn't really equate to what's in the field all the time. So we have test vehicle that we put them on. We collect many hours of data with these, and we test them, go through the video, and continue to tune. And so that way, when it gets to the customer's hands, we have a preset set of register settings and tuning for them. And that generally gets them 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
And then what we do after that is we work directly with the customer to do that fine tuning for them.
Yes.
And again, we have a small army of engineers. We have, here in the United States, we have literally 30 engineers, 4 highly qualified ones right here in Detroit to help our customers continue their tuning.
Yeah.
And then there's other sensors, like for example DMS. Those require very high sensitivity in the near infrared range.
Right.
So those are very different than the exterior sensing sensors. So those are very specific. But then some of our sensors also are very general purpose. You could use them in cabin, exterior, backup camera type.
Right.
So that's why we have such a large menu of sensors, because all these applications have different challenges, and every car maker has different requirements for even the same application.
Sure.
And different system architectures. So you need all kinds of different hooks inside these sensors to meet all the requirements.
Right, that makes sense, Jeffrey. What emerging trends, and just to list a few, maybe higher resolution sensors, AI integration, enhanced low light capabilities. When you look at the emerging trends, what do you see right now really shaping the future of automotive imaging?
Feeding AI seems to be the biggest driver of innovations right now. So you have to give your neural network the optimal data for it to make sense. So if you look at an image and you can tell there's a pedestrian in the road, the neural network likely can. But that can be challenging in different lighting conditions. There's many times with your eyes you might not be able to detect a pedestrian. So our image sensors have to actually be better than our eyes. Right. So that's driving innovation such as higher resolution imagers for forward-looking cameras. In fact, there's a new law, the FMVSS 127, that's creating a whole bunch of new challenges for the whole industry.
Right.
And that's a case where you have to detect a pedestrian outside the low beam lights. So you have to be able to see the edge edges of a pedestrian any lighting condition. So that really drives dynamic range and low light performance. So we've developed new pixels just for this challenge that will greatly enhance the low light performance, increase the resolution. 8 megapixels seems to be the sweet spot for that. And this will help to prevent false activations. I would say that's probably the biggest challenge the car makers have, is false activations of automatic braking systems. And this FMVSS 127 is really going to push the limits of those requirements. We cannot allow a car to slam on the brakes for no reason at all if you're driving 65 miles an hour. So that's why we developed our new pixel technology to prevent this phantom braking issue.
Right. Let's stay with that same theme, challenges and technical hurdles. We know that low light and flicker mitigation, that is still a technical hurdle. That's still a challenge. So how do your newest sensors, Jeffrey, how do they handle environments with, say, extreme lighting contrast and LED flickers? How do you mitigate that?
Yeah, so the problem of LED flicker, well, it started coming onto our radar 12, even 15 years ago. We started talking about it, but it was rare. And then through the years, the LEDs on the cars have grown significantly, and now it's just standard on every car. So it's still an issue, but and I've seen many solutions in the image sensor try to solve this problem at the pixel level. We've tried it in software level, back-end processing. It just gets better and better with each generation. But I think we're finally to a point where we have some really good solutions now, just depending on the application. And one of those is what we call our ThiaCell technology. Our ThiaCell technology actually puts a low-fit capacitor. It's basically an overflow capacitor next to each and every pixel. So when a pixel saturates, then that overflow charge can flow into the capacitor, and we can leave the exposure open for a very long time. So generally, we try to solve 90 hertz and above LED flicker, so that means leaving the exposure open for up to 11 milliseconds. And that's really challenging from a pixel point of view, but this new capacitor technology has really changed the game. So now, instead of so now you can leave the exposure open for 11 milliseconds and pick up all automotive LED flicker without even seeing any modulation whatsoever, right? And then the big bonus on those and adding that capacitor is much higher dynamic range in the imager. And at nighttime, when you have 2 points of light in a dark field, which are basically 2 headlights, let's say 100 yards away in a very dark field, let's say you're out on a country road, that's a very challenging imaging problem. This capacitor comes to the rescue because you can leave the exposure open for a long time, and those 2 points of light don't blow out. They don't allow any bleeding from pixel to pixel. So it's the best image quality. So right there, it helps low light performance.
And even here in Michigan, where we live, you know, you get outside of the city and there are those dark roads. I mean, that's a common driving scenario for anybody that lives, you know, in a rural area. ThiaCell was such a remarkable innovation when that was first introduced. It continues to be a remarkable innovation. You've continued that recently introducing the new X1N image sensor, and that's designed for DMS cameras. So what are the key advantages here? Tell us more about the X1N.
Yeah, so DMS, driver monitoring system, we see the market growing. So mainly due to mandates, but level 3 driving and some level 2+ driving systems require that the driver be monitored for the handback of the driving, right? Or are you distracted driving? Some countries have laws for that. So we know that the volumes will be high, and so our challenge was to find the most cost-effective solution, and that's where our X1N comes in. And then, so that pixel has what's called NIXL technology, and NIXL is some special IP that we own that brings the sensitivity of the near-infrared wavelengths up to, it's a quantum efficiency number, up to 36%, which is industry-leading by far. And then we have things around the pixel to prevent pixel-to-pixel bleeding. So the MTF, or the sharpness of the image, is very high as well too. So this is now for a basic DMS system, this will now be the leading sensor for that application. And from the beginning, we thought about low-cost imaging, or these low-cost driver monitoring systems. And so it's been designed from the start for that. So I think it's really the ideal sensor now for standalone driver monitoring systems.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said at the beginning, you have the largest portfolio already. X1N comes in and fills another important spot.
Real niche, but an important one.
Yeah, an important one in your portfolio. We're of course excited to have you joining us again at AutoSens USA 2025 as our lead sponsor. Also taking part though with InCabin as well. So what have you enjoyed most about being with us again this year?
Oh yeah, so I'm at this show every year since the beginning. OMNIVISION, we are the leading image sensor supplier for automotive by volume and technology now.
Sure.
And so it's only a natural fit. AutoSens is the best show for automotive sensing. There just is no other show equivalent to it. And it's great to see people in person. So even though we all live in Detroit area, we still do Zoom calls every day.
I know.
And so we only get to see each other once in a while. And so this is great to shake hands and see each other and just talk. And so that personal relationship is so important for building technology and building business moving forward. So, and this year the attendance has just been fantastic.
Awesome. With breakthroughs in HDR, low light imaging, and AI-powered perception, OMNIVISION continues to drive the future of automotive vision. As the lead sponsor of AutoSens USA 2025, their innovations are on full display here, but even after AutoSens beyond this event, you can connect with the OMNIVISION team at their website, and you can stay up to date with them on their LinkedIn page. We've been speaking with Jeffrey Morin, Automotive Imaging Solutions Specialist at OMNIVISION. Jeffrey, from all of us here at AutoSens and InCabin, thank you for being with us, sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and your insight. I know you've spoken a lot today, so I will let you go and rest your voice, but thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
From the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit, for AutoSens and InCabin USA 2025, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.